Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Whiskey Crusaders. We got Matt, we got a special guest here tonight. We got Heather with us this evening here from the beautiful Crooked Water Spirits. All these awesome labels that she's got here. So you
Hello.
guys know that. So lovely news. Of course, I'm back. Unfortunately, Will and Sarah are both sick tonight. So you just get me and you get Heather. So I think we
Oh,
have an awesome guest
100%.
this evening. So also a fellow sommelier and obviously owner of this fantastic. So Heather, let you introduce yourself and we'll jump into these so we can get you drinking some amazing products you make.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have had Crooked Water started in 2013. So we're going on wrapping up our 10th year.
Wow.
Yeah, like blink of an eye, but then also seems like forever. My passion is family food and booze. So I have a tech company that's family, a food company that is around seasoning and high integrity, low salt. Because my dad had heart disease and he was my best friend, and you'll see him bleed in and out of everything I do. And then booze was always just super fun in our family. You know, Thanksgiving or the day after, mostly Christmas, sometimes Thanksgiving was, you arrive and you get bubbly, and then you go to maybe a Tom and Jerry or Bloody, and then you have a beer, and then you have an aperitif, and then you have wine, and then you have a digestive. And it was always just really fun. So it seemed kind of natural that
That's awesome.
I started a business within
Yeah.
the liquor industry.
Sounds like my kind of family. It's a
We had
great
a
one.
very fun family. Nobody abused it. So it was, alcohol was always we were very lucky. Alcohol was always a really fun thing in our house.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's how my grandfather was with that too. It's how it always was. You had to learn to drink because he had too many friends during Prohibition and during the Depression that became alcoholics. So it's like, nope, all my grandkids have to learn how to drink. And he started this at about 10. So we started drinking real early and nobody's an alcoholic. So he was successful.
There you go.
So, So what? So I guess that's obviously why you got into it. So 10 man. So you have to be one of the very early people then in Minnesota. If you started this in 2013, that's got to be almost nobody was in the business at that
Yeah,
point.
it was only Panther, and
Okay.
so I contract distill. So I reached out to them, met with them. They didn't have the bandwidth, and honestly, it was the right opportunity to not take, because
Okay.
they were learning there still. They were trying to feed their own
Ooh.
table, which made sense. And I ended up, after interviewing about a dozen distilleries,
Oh
I
wow.
went over to Madison, Wisconsin,
Okay.
and aligned with an owner that was just phenomenal. Transparent, authentic. I was born and raised in Rotary. I don't know if
Okay.
anyone knows what that is. It's usually silver-haired older men that know what that is. But
We know what it
it's a
is.
non yeah, it's a nonprofit. I'm a past president of Rotary, and I've been in it since
Oh,
I was a
cool.
kid. And so I run all my businesses along the four-way test, which is it the truth? Is it fair to everybody? Is it beneficial to everybody? And does it make stronger partnerships? And I think that's why I've been successful, and in a very commoditized industries. I've had pretty decent than all I would say two of the three companies. The spices are more shits and giggles passion project that really makes no money.
Hey, we always need
Um,
good prices for sure.
right. No one's gonna. I mean, it's too competitive, and a lot of little jars to make a little money. But I run all my companies along that four-way test, and really aligned with the owner, and worked distilled there for about 8 years. Uh,
Okay.
really, when I realized I wanted to launch a liquor company, a spirits brand, I went home and I thought, what could I make that nobody else is making? Right. I mean, I have a BFA
Right.
and MBA, so always a real passion around creativity, not being a
Okay.
lemming, differentiation,
Yeah,
the
for
whole blue
sure.
ocean methodology. And I went home and I used to pay my fiance in scotch for all of the
Best
creative
time.
work that he did for my tech company. And so I had because we were pretty broke when we first started.
Yeah.
And so I had a decent collection of scotch, and I realized that all my favorite scotches were cask finished.
Okay.
So when I
Very
sat
cool.
down, I thought, well, in 2013, I could only find one company advertising port finished bourbon, right? Angel's Envy.
Okay.
And I
Yeah.
couldn't find anyone else doing port that was advertising, and I couldn't find anyone doing sherry cask. So I
Yeah.
thought,
No.
being Minnesota, being Midwest is
Mm.
rather new to all of this. It would
Right.
be a differentiated product, unique product. And so I worked with the owner of that distillery, did 5 barrels with them,
Nice.
used their base. I thought it was their base, but it ended up being MPG,
Oh, okay.
high rye,
Yeah.
and sent these beautiful barrels from Portugal and from Spain,
Right.
and we just did almost like basically a POC. I would call it now, but at that point, I was just like, "This is so fun.
Oh, for sure.
Let's do this." I wasn't thinking of business. I wasn't thinking expansion. I was thinking
Okay.
5 barrels. Let's launch it. And then I had great connections in media, so I'm on the rooftop of WCCO,
That's
shaking
awesome.
cocktails, and all of a sudden, like in 3 days, all my product was gone, like in 48,
Damn.
72 hours. So it was
Wow.
like, oh, shit, like this could
Yeah.
actually be something. And I was not prepared for that. So
Okay.
I took 2 years to build up my barrel program. While then
Okay.
I launched opposite of everybody else. So I launched with bourbon, ran out,
Okay.
pissed everyone else off, built up my bourbon program, and then created a citrus, like new American style gin, a London dry gin, and an aged vodka, which was a really beautiful educational piece
Ooh.
because
Yeah, that's fun.
really shows what wood does to a spirit, right? Helps you understand. So, whiskey haters could taste it and begin to understand how whiskey could be beautiful, right?
Absolutely.
So those did well and allowed me to continue to build the company. We're still very boutique-y. We're about
Okay.
200 barrels. We're about 4,000 cases.
Still good. Yeah.
And but we have now 13 or 12 real SKUs, I would say. We do a vodka, a vodka because we have to. It's not like I'm gonna.
Oh yeah, but a good vodka is always good though. There's so many, as you know, that are not good vodkas out there. That
Yes.
I really love craft vodkas. I find almost always just really good.
I even made it. I'm super transparent. I made it like my favorite vodka, which is Kettle One. I made it clean, flavorless. It's meant to be mixed, and I wanted it. So I want it to be, cheap enough where you can mix it without guilt, but high quality enough where you could have it straight and have it be delicious, right? So it's that fine.
Absolutely.
And I think I got to that point by really putting like $3 margin on it. That's it.
Oh wow.
So that you could have that high end profile, but still have the affordability. So I would say that's the entry into our line. Because I don't want to make my name on vodka. I want to make my name on something with a little bit of soul, creativity, effort, recipes, something that I actually really can impact. Our Sundog New American Gin is citrusy, bright. It's our number one selling clear, and I would say our second or number one selling product overall. We do a high proof navy strength London dry.
Okay.
We do an El Dorado, which is I would say it's like a Campari with soul. It's got a lot of warming spices in it. It's 50 proof, so it's higher. And I needed it for the ready to pours that I make, which is the Boulevardier Negroni. And then I do a mini apple, which I make no money on, but it's a passion project. It's 4 woods and apple brandy. So it's not any sugar added to it. It actually smells and drinks. If you haven't had a bourbon, you would think you're drinking bourbon, and then you put it next to bourbon and you can absolutely get the apple notes.
Awesome.
But it's in port casks, bourbon casks, and French oak. And for like 6 years. So it's ridiculous. I have 1 cask left, and I've just started last year aging a whole new set. So we'll probably run out next year and launch the year after that.
There you go.
And then I did a couple fun things like a Regatta Rye, which is a rum cask rye. Kings Point was a port cask bourbon. Old Hell Roaring, which is a custom cask, which is fun. We'll talk about that bourbon. Lost Lake, which is a sherry cask. And then our ready to pours, which are the Boulevardier, the Negroni, and then the Old Fashioned, which it goes toe to toe with our Sundog Gin as the number one seller. That's what's on Sun Country Airlines.
Really? That's awesome.
We're on the planes.
That's freaking great. Man, that's how some of those scotches got launched, was on those airplanes.
Yeah, and I actually make money on it. You wouldn't
That's
like.
even better.
I know that's like an unheard thing. Nobody makes money on those. They call it a marketing play, right? And
That's very cool.
at least not losing money.
I know Andy says he loves your background, so I'll tell you that. And then
Oh, thank you.
we got Injaw's workshop. He said he's trying to understand because he's and drinking, but he's from Switzerland, so hopefully he learned something here. And
Oh,
I
I
know
love it.
English probably isn't the first language in Switzerland, but hopefully he can pledge along and enjoy this. How close is Minnesota to Scotland in terms of aging whiskey? Is another question from Eric.
How well, I mean, we can age for one day, right?
Mhm.
And I
Right.
mean, so oh, you're the one that's going to know those details.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I mean, you think about it, I mean, that's probably fairly close. I know from enough of the whiskeys we've had from Minnesota. Now, I know you do. Are yours in a closed warehouse where you're aging your stuff, and are you heat cycling or anything in there, or no?
So we have a weird mix going on because now I'm completely 100% in Minnesota. There's some
Okay.
things that changed with Wisconsin, and I no longer aligned in our core values. So
Okay.
I moved out of Wisconsin,
Okay.
and moved, and the bonus of it, it cost me 40 grand to do that, but I ended up having phenomenal fucking product.
So that's
From
even better then.
yeah. So from a clear perspective, it's a totally different but elevated product. So I'm really excited about that. Unexpected.
Sweet.
I loved what I had, but I didn't realize that we could go and then and get even better.
I love that.
And my bourbon barrels, they're aged in a temperature controlled.
Okay.
Uh, but part of those, a big chunk of those barrels were also aged in zero control. And then because I had
Okay.
him at somebody's place for a while, but we
Yeah.
never harvested him. So then after 2 years, I pulled them and put them in a different warehouse. So
Oh,
I'm gonna have
interesting.
some weird shit coming out because
That sounds like
some
fun though
people,
to take it from one place to another. Like, because
yeah.
how mileage was like 100 miles apart or something like that? Were you changing it
Um,
from, or not quite that far?
yeah, I would say they're about 100 miles apart.
Yeah,
Yep.
so the terroir is going to be a little bit different there because where you're aging now, what's a temperature range usually from there?
Oh, I bet you they're around 70 to 62, actually. I would say probably
Okay,
62.
okay, so that's not it. And then what's the hottest it ever? Did it ever get up to like 100 where you're at, or no?
Um, oh, the temperature here. Well, yes. So the temperature here right now is like 40, but our swing is phenomenal. It can be from -30 in the winter
Jeez,
to
that's
easily
cold.
easily like 95
Okay, huge
degrees.
swings.
Yeah, huge swings. I mean, it was 70, or no, not 70. It was, well, yeah, it was like 65, 70 degrees 2 days ago. And today was 40.
Damn.
And on
Okay.
Thursday will be 30 degrees.
Wow. So that's okay. Fun for you. In
Yeah,
Texas, we
yeah.
don't enjoy that at all. Thankfully, we get to zero occasionally. It's horrible. We don't know what to do. We all stay inside.
Yeah, I
But we
feel
also
like
get
your whole
to,
grid shuts down when it gets cold.
yeah, it's not good. We should not get colder. Bad things happen when it gets cold. We can handle 100, 115-degree heat. That doesn't bother me. It's the cold that I can't handle.
Yeah.
Yeah, you love
And
the
I'm
cold.
always freezing, so I
Yet you
also
live in
do not like the
Minnesota.
cold. Yeah, the only thing that brings you here or keeps you here is love and family or your job. I
Yeah, that
think the
makes sense.
job allowed a lot of people, COVID allowed a lot of people to move out, but man,
Mm,
like it's just an amazing place to have, like, if you had kids, to raise a family. And then if your family lives here,
yeah.
they'll always suck you back.
Yeah, that's where all there in the smaller towns. When we were up there this summer, that's where most of them stick around is their families, and they really love being in the small towns, which I don't blame them. I feel that's fabulous. But I'm
Yeah.
like, they're like, when is? Because I guess when we were in Duluth, they're like, when's winter coming back? I'm like, you really like the cold. What are
What?
those roads there? I'm like, how do you drive on roads that are like at 45-degree angles? This is insane. And you built this purposely on this way. Here it's like everything's pretty much flat. It's like because we don't have snow tires or snow chains or anything like that, so that'll be
Right.
wild.
Yeah, Duluth is crazy. I live in the middle of nowhere on some
Okay.
acreage about 30 minutes west of Minneapolis.
Okay.
So kind of in the middle of nowhere, but still accessible to the city. So you can kind of have the best of both worlds.
There you go. That works.
Yeah.
Not bad at all. All right. Which of these should we start to pour? Because we need some whiskey in the glass at this point.
Well, so let's see. What clears do you have? Did I send you any
Do
clears?
not send me any clears.
Okay, so I gave you the El Dorado, right?
You did.
Yeah, I would start with that one.
Or that one? Okay. So this is the bitter orange. Okay. So what does that mean, and what is an El Dorado? Just to tell
So
us all
El
about it.
Dorado was like liquid gold, I believe, is like a description.
Oh yeah, the City of Gold, the whole like conquistador story from back in the day, like
Yeah.
the 1500s.
And I didn't even want to make this product. I tried to buy a really beautiful product from another company in Minnesota. And for whatever reason, he wasn't allowed to sell it to me. So
Oh,
I
that smells
did an R&D, about 30 jars with various herbs and infusions, and worked on it for about a month. And I'd say of the 30 jars, like 27 were horrible. And then like 3 of them were really good. So then I condensed the 3 of the notes that I liked the most out of each of them and did one final test. And then that's how I came up with that. So I needed that for our ready to pours. And then my account manager, she was bringing it around, just kind of showing it off and sharing with bar managers and liquor store owners. And she got such good feedback that we decided to make it a SKU and bring it to market.
Okay. So what's in it exactly?
Well, it is about 15 botanicals, everything from grapefruit, orange, lemon, bilberries, a little bit of heather flowers. I use those in all my gins. A lot of bittering agents, obviously, cloves, cinnamon, bark. So you're gonna get like a lot of baking spices, but not. My goal is not so. And then tons of hibiscus. That's what gives it color. But hopefully the baking spices aren't so overpowering that it makes you think holiday, but just really more like a vintage. Warmer Campari, right? Campari is so high level.
I like it better than Campari, though.
Yeah, thank you. It's just got more depth. It's got more soul.
Yeah, there's way more going on than Campari has going on. That's for sure.
Yeah, Campari can be kind of a one note, and I love it in a Negroni.
This is awesome.
But
for real.
But that one, I'm very proud about that one. Like it's just
really good.
And then even our next batch, we're even like intensifying the profile on it just a little bit. But I also love that it's 50 proof. So the pillars of my company are the quality, innovation, and the experience. So, I haven't taken a cent out of this company. I 100% reinvest everything back in it. And I don't have any investors, and it allows me to create weird and fun things without any pressure, releasing them when they're ready, and really being able to own the process and own what I want to bring to the market. And that one is, I don't know, it was really, really fun one to come up with, because I honestly have no idea what I'm doing. I know how to put flavors together, but I mean, like when you're kind of just playing games, when you're playing with botanicals in a guessing game, you don't really know how they're going to infuse. So it's fun. It was a pretty relatively successful exploration.
Yeah. So do you usually drink this over ice, or do you usually mix this with stuff, or how do you usually drink this one?
I would drink that. So that there's a couple ways. I would drink it in like an El Dorado spritz, as you would like an Aperol spritz.
That's got to be awesome. Making one of those after the show.
Yeah. Sure. And then as a highball with Perrier, because the Perrier has such a mineral quality to it, and those smaller bubbles for a low ABV, that's really, really good. I also make a Carajillo with it, which I'm sure I butchered the name. But a Carajillo is a shot of that and 2 shots of espresso shaken hard, poured over ice, and you get this beautiful coffee foam on top.
My wife would like that.
And then just sipping as it is. But what I was going back to was the innovation, quality, and the experience. To me, the experience is high proofing. So you won't find really anything in our portfolio that is under 86. That's, something that I've created.
I love that.
I want the consumer to be able to dilute it, not
Mhm.
me. And
Right.
then it's also not, like both my gins, I actually charge the same price. So even though one's 114
Yeah.
and one's 86 proof, I try to keep it simple since this
Yeah.
is, side hustle.
Right.
And so then it's also more value for the consumer and it's more value for the bar.
Sure.
If they understand how to dilute, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I liked it because I was like, I know when we met you, I'm like, oh, these are high proof. These are not weak little drinks. These are drinks that will hurt you. I know
Yeah.
some of the stuff we had was like really high proof. I'm like, holy crap. I was like, oh, I got only one was like 118 or something I got a hold of, something like that. It's like, oh, okay then.
Yeah, I think that was one of the cask strengths.
Yeah, that you had
Old
there.
Hells that I brought.
I was like, well, this is one way to definitely handle it. It was awesome. Andy wants to know, what is distribution like? What states are you in?
Oh, we are in Minnesota and Wisconsin, Missouri. We got out of Vegas through LibDib. We're in California and New York. And then we're supposed to be opening up in Tennessee. I just haven't had the bandwidth to get my shit together and get my pricing over here. I am the worst.
Now, are you available for online purchase as well, or not yet?
That's another problem. So I was going to use Big Thirst so people could order online. I just have to get them my pricing. So I need an operations person, Matt. So
I feel you. I feel you. Opening a business. Thankfully, you're 10 years ahead of me, but yes.
Well, hopefully, by January 1st, we will have our e-com site up so we can ship anywhere because we'll have a distribution center in, I think, Chicago.
Fantastic. Good. Then everybody can get this stuff because it's really good.
Well, thank you.
I like that a lot. Yeah, because I've never had this thing like the El Dorado, but yeah, that's gonna be a lot of fun cocktails made with that. That's for sure.
Yes. Yeah. Anything that you would use a Campari or an Aperol with, I think it's a good replacement. Even in COVID, when nobody could get Campari, we were replacing that on the bar locally because it was so comparable. But but more flavor.
Yeah, way more flavor for sure. Like I said, that's gonna be some fun stuff to make. All right, which one should we move on to next then?
Let's see. Did I send you a mini apple?
No.
Okay. Old Hell.
Old Hell.
Or
yes, Old Hell. Yeah, good Old Hell. Yes. What is this? Oh, I got a blank piece of paper. Thanks, kid.
And did I send you a King's Point too?
You did.
All right. Start with the King's Point.
King's Point. Okay.
Yeah. So that was one of our first that we launched. And I would say it's probably one of my only products that's easily recreatable.
Okay.
Because the difference is in my process. So why it's different is that not a lot of organizations or craft will spend $600 on a port barrel.
Yeah, that's not cheap.
And then there's really no one that will only use it once, right? Like Macallan will do that, but they can afford to do that.
Sure.
So I only use it once. I'm importing super high-end barrels from Portugal in the Douro Valley. We're using 53-gallon barrels for aging and the full barrel size for the port.
Okay.
And what we're doing is we're putting it in there for at least 2 years. So it's also for a very long time.
Long time.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
For a bourbon, that's unheard. It's usually like a month or something if you're lucky.
Well, I know when I first launched that in Wisconsin, the guy that I love, he was like, "Oh my God," he's like, "Heather, do you know what you're doing?" And I'm like, "No, but just trust me." And I said, "I want you to put the bourbon in the port cast. It has to be beautiful. I love scotches like that. It's common sense. It's going to be beautiful." And then he tried it. He's like, "Oh, Heather," he pinged me in like a month later, and he's like, "Heather, it's amazing. We should pull it." And I was like, no, Nick, we gotta wait a while. Like, if you're gonna age it, right? If you're just doing it for such a short time,
Sure.
it's just a marketing thing, right?
Right. It's like, yeah, like I said, it's like
You're
a
not,
month, 2 months.
yeah, you're not really doing the barrel justice. And that kind of goes back to our quality, no investors. I don't need money out of this company.
Right.
And the company, it's been profitable since year 5, which is very unique as a small producer, and no debt, which I'm really proud about. So
This is fantastic on both fronts.
Yeah. Well, and thankfully I don't need a salary from it. Otherwise it'd be a much different story. Right.
Sure.
But I'm trying to grow slow and right versus compromising anything.
Right.
And though as painful as it might be, I'm hoping in the end it's worth it. I know I've lost traction or opportunities because I haven't thrown money at it and just ran and thrown equity at it. But I am such a control freak that I just don't think it would work well bringing in investors. So
I don't blame you. Yeah, if you lose control, it doesn't help you at all. You want to be able to make all the decisions on your own, especially like you said, with 2 years in a port barrel. It's like you said, it's basically unheard, especially in American whiskey. It's unheard of.
yeah,
like, that's mostly a Scotch thing at that point. But that is awesome. That's definitely the best port finished bourbon I've had. That's not even close.
Thank you.
My gosh.
Yeah. What I love it, like at 90 proof too. It's just, the port doesn't cover it. So like I'm very particular. Obviously, you can tell what like some bourbons that will leave some of the port in there.
Oh, totally. It's like, oh, you've been supported. How nice.
Yeah. So I make sure it's completely emptied. We're not.
Okay.
We're not. It's just that soft inflection. So you still get that profile of the bourbon of what you would expect, but that beautiful, the nose and that like the softness that it adds, but it doesn't take away or what some experience has been kind of like ruins it, right? It becomes
totally. There's some, and I don't like those particular bourbons that are just like, oh, you put some port in here, which I like port a lot, but I don't want my bourbon to taste like port either. I want it to accent it, but so what kind of port is this that you're using in there?
That's a PX.
It's a PX.
That's not a PX. That's not. That's the sherry. The port. It's from Douro Valley. I know that it is a multi-generational winery. Okay. Those port barrels are anywhere from 10 to 15 years old. The sherry are about 9. Okay. Back in the day when I first started, those barrels were 20 years old for the port, but they just keep kind of getting younger and younger.
Sure, yeah, they're in the same problem whiskey has. There's not much as older stuff around anymore. But yeah, still 15. That's still a great age on them for a port barrel, and then sitting there for a couple years in it.
Yeah.
Hold on one second. Probably a very important question about colored pencils.
I would have the same question if I was in her spot.
Yes, child. Anyway, that's funny. You just never know what they're going to ask you.
I know. That's the joy of children. I don't have any of my own children. I have 2 bonus kids that are in college that are amazing. But I appreciate the bonus child route. None of the pain, all of the benefit.
Yeah, there you go. See, got it easy.
I'm like a guy.
Yeah. Oh, that's hilarious. Oh, that's too funny. All right. Should we move on, I guess, to the Hell's one now?
Old Hell Roaring, I'm super proud about. Both those whiskeys have been rated at the Whiskey Advocate. Nice. I know that they've all placed high like 89, but I'm such a type A that I was like, no, I'm going to let them age more, resubmit, and share that news when they get into the 90s. But then I still have to send them. We've been the San Francisco Spirit Awards. And One other one, like I'm very uh, judgy on those contests, right? Because a lot of them you submit and everyone gets a medal, right? It's just
Right.
so I'm really particular on what we submit to because it's just a numbers game a lot of the time. So I feel like the San Francisco one is, at least when I was submitting it, and got them a few years ago, that it was a well respected
Right.
one. And then the Whiskey Advocate, I mean, we got like a full page highlight in that one, which was pretty cool.
Sweet.
Yeah,
That's very cool.
So Old Hell, I'm really straightforward that I source the base. It's that high rye, like I mentioned. I ended up finding this guy. I met this guy at a bar, and it was so hilarious. And yeah, an Old Hell Roaring is a trailhead in Big Sky, which is one of my favorite places to vacation.
Oh, okay.
And my dad was like a big Clint Eastwood guy.
Okay.
And so I thought that just sounded so Clint Eastwood badass. And so when we drove by, I'm like, that's the name of my next bourbon.
Love it.
But so I was sitting at a bar, and the bartender knows me, and she was like, hey, so you make bourbon, and those guys over there make barrels. I'm pretty sure you guys should talk. And I'm like, what? So, scooted over and chatted with them. They had just opened Cooperage about 20 minutes west of me. I ended up showing up with like a bunch of woods. We ended up drinking Vespers and shooting clay discs in the back of it with shotguns. Until we got so drunk, and there was blood, there was too much ammo. And so we decided that one of the guns accidentally went off. So we're like, well, I think we'll stop and maybe go in and talk about barrels.
Yeah, that seems like a good choice at that point.
It was a good call. And I said I wanted to bring the barbecue methodology into barrel cooking. Low and slow makes everything beautiful in barbecue. So how could that not work within barrels? And yeah, there's the risk of drying it out and leaking and all those things. How hard can we push it? So we created this custom recipe that nobody in the world has, where we multi-hour toast it at a very low temp.
Wow.
We pull it out. Oh, I'm going to get a glass of water too. We pull it out. We char it, and then we wet smoke it. And I have like two samples up there. One was with pecan, and one was with cherry. And oh my God, like the difference is amazing. And then I take my 2-year bourbon. I put it into those barrels for another 4 years.
Dang.
So what you're getting is and the byproduct of that was a beautiful viscosity because of all the sugar I got out of that with all the multi-hour toasting. So the mouthfeel was really good. And you get that, doubling down on the profile that you love of bourbon, right? Of the vanilla, the creme brulee, all that. But then you get like this really silky, soft, subtle smokiness. And I like that one was such a journey to get those barrels prepped. I mean, and nobody can make it because even I tried that Cooperage now went out of business. So now we're makeshifting them to continuing it for my company. But I asked another Cooperage to make it, and it was like $1,000 a barrel.
Holy crap.
It was the process and the effort is insane.
Yeah. I would imagine. That sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah.
But a lot of work that makes beautiful whiskey, so.
Yeah. Do you like it? It's 90 proof.
I do like it's very different with, that's very unique what you're saying that you use those other kinds of wood on it. I do like it but I don't think I've ever really tasted a bourbon that's quite like that. It's just unique.
That's the one that has really gotten us a lot of recognition, a lot of support.
I would love to blind people with this too, just to see what they do, because it'd be very entertaining.
Oh yeah. And I love that is just a beautiful result of playing with the wood.
Yeah, it's crazy oily. It's like the viscosity, that's insane.
Yeah, it is.
For only 6 years old, that's wild. Yeah, that's good.
And it took us, I think in the very beginning, it was a minimum 4.
Okay.
And I really over invested in it to try to get it older. And my goal is to get it to between 6 and 8. So we're just finally getting at that 6-year mark.
Okay. Very nice. Yeah, that's really good. I like that a lot. It's amazing though, honey whiskeys that are coming out up north now. They're really good. People have never heard of, unfortunately. Like, there's a lot of great whiskey going on up there.
Yeah, it's, I think it's always hard to launch a new market. So I think the first 6 years, when people started their distilleries and were learning their still and launched white whiskey and 1 month aged whiskey and 3 month aged whiskey,
right?
It kind of screwed with the market and the expectation of what people can do here.
Yeah.
So I think there was a really huge backlash for, I would say, probably 3 or 4 years, where people just didn't believe in Minnesota whiskey, didn't believe it could be great. And I think now with time and people letting it age longer and understanding their still, I mean, even there's a distillery here that dumped a bunch of their stuff because it just wasn't good and started over.
Well, at least they're smart to do that.
And are making a much better product. And I think now the mindset's starting to change of what, because we have a beautiful environment here for it, right? It's not like a winery coming right out of the gate.
Right.
Make amazing wine. You need to give them some grace.
That, and you can't beat time. And so it's like, well, we'll see what happens. Like, and you're learning, like you said, learning your still and learning with the terroir of up there. And it's just different. And it makes beautiful whiskey. Just gotta have patience and time, unfortunately.
Yeah, they would have been better to just launch a sourced product until they figured it out versus trying to launch their product, right? But that goes back to like investors and investments and
waiting on it,
all the things. Just like it began. That's why I love contract distilling. In COVID, I was able to hire somebody. It me through versus shrank. And I don't necessarily want to run a bar where I can't serve my own friends, right? Like I don't want my bar to be how I make it. I want my product to be how I make it in this industry.
Most definitely. But yeah, that is one of the coolest labels I think I've seen. I do love that label a lot.
Thank you. Everything. So I have a background in art, and Rhett does as well. So he made all the labels. We had a buddy draw the bear, and then the corks are fire stamped out of Germany.
Okay, so and is that these cool? I guess these. Probably assuming that's the newer cork. This thing.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, these are cool corks. I do like that.
Yeah, I love the way they sound when you open it. It just sounds good.
Oh, they do sound good.
They get all like squeaky.
Yeah. Nice. Love it. All right, where should we go now?
Do you have 3 left, right?
Yes, correct.
So let's go to the Negroni.
All right.
And give it a good shake.
Okay.
Just because you sometimes get the sediment from the vermouth, but you're good.
Okay.
So that is our Sundog Gin. That is our El Dorado. And then I made a custom sweet vermouth out of California. I'm a big fan of Antica. I think American sweet vermouths can't compete with Italian sweet vermouths. Okay. They're just so much deeper in flavor, fuller body. So I ended up doing something really unique, and I bought out all of their port, and I started blending and did a custom blend, which they had never done. It was another second generation family. And that's where we started getting more of that body versus a light sweet vermouth, where you can tell in a lot of bottled Negronis, there's not a lot, but you can tell they're lighter versus that heavier mouthfeel. So it's equal parts orange bitters, bitter cube. They're a Wisconsin company. They make great bitters. And that is 57 proof, but I'm relaunching it next month at 62 proof.
Oh, nice. So you found those 5 points made a big difference in it for you?
That what?
The 5 points make a big difference? Or just made more body? Or when you're relaunching it?
So after sipping on that, I always like everything higher proof. And right. And I feel like I wanted something a little bit more meaty that could
Okay.
stand up to dilution. And like our old
Okay.
fashioned is 75 proof. It's big, it's beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah.
And to me, the Negroni just needed a little oomph to
Okay.
give it a little bit more of that bite that you want when it comes right out of the bottle, and then you enjoy the dilution as you're sipping it. So
You know what? What's crazy is these are like 10 times better than almost any bar that's making a cocktail in front of you. Why are these so much better? They should just have yours instead of making them. This is
yeah, thank you. It's just no compromise, right? And so that's
no,
why
I
they're
mean,
expensive.
help
That's
you.
probably why they're not on every shelf everywhere, because it's a $40 Negroni and a $40 or maybe a $50 Boulevardier, because that
I'm
would
okay.
have
Yeah,
gotten
but
me.
you got a whole bottle. I mean, to me, that's totally worth it.
Hey, the street value of those cocktails is like $120
Exactly. So
easily.
I'm like, it's totally, you're getting a good deal, and it's a way better cocktail.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's just, I'm playing towards just a much different clientele.
Right,
Back to
right.
that grow slow and right. If I wanted to make a shitty skinny girl product and sell the
Oh,
shit
sure.
out of it
Yeah.
and be done, I could have done that, but I would not be proud about it. I would not drink
Right.
it. I'd be embarrassed about it. I'm not in it for like building something to sell. I'm in it for building something
Yeah.
I love,
Right.
and want to drink.
Absolutely. Yeah. I would definitely want to drink now. Same thing. You usually just drink this one over ice, I assume, and then you call it a
Yeah,
day.
I would
Yeah,
do
I think it's
one
fabulous
square.
the way it is.
Thank you. I would do one square, or you could just put the bottle in the fridge and pour it in a
I
coupe.
like that plan even better. I'm gonna stick in the fridge.
Yeah. And I'd say what I found is after like 60 days,
Mhm.
and I've even drank one that was been open for a year, but
Okay.
there is a massive brightness difference, right? So the
Okay.
over time it will oxidize.
Okay.
So, I would maybe say 60 to 90 days, finish it.
Okay.
Um, but it's still very drinkable up to a year later.
Okay. That's good to
That's
know.
why that's why I love the prohibition kind of I'm not going to do any canned cocktails.
Yeah.
Just, no effervescent bullshit, fake
Hate those.
citrus. Like
They make me sick.
you
They're
can't
terrible.
recreate it, and
No.
nobody can. And so if you can't do it right, why do it at all? Let the bar cocktails that taste fresh.
Yeah, exactly. I'd much rather have that than some, like you said, some bullshit somebody made up that, oh, it used to be this, but it's really just a bunch of crap.
Right. And you can taste it in the aftertaste. You can,
Oh, they're gross.
like when your lips get all like pruny
Yeah.
because like what aspartame or whatever it is in there, that something that's not natural. Right.
Right, right. It's like, I don't need this. Just, yeah, I find most of those pre-made cocktails that are in those cans, oh, they're just awful. Usually they make me sick as well. So, because I don't know what's in them, I'm like, they're just gross.
Yeah. I
Okay.
agree.
So
I
these are
agree.
fabulous. In fact, is there anybody else really? I guess there's a couple other companies making them in a bottle, but there's not many that are doing glass at that.
No, I don't. Yeah, I don't know anyone outside of like how High West was doing a barrel aged
Yeah, that's what I was thinking
Manhattan,
with High West. Yeah.
and then Bullet was doing God, a mint julep, which I hate those. Someone was doing a bottled mint julep.
Oh
Because
yeah,
we were
Old Forester.
highlighted.
I think Maker's Mark has one, but I think Maker's Mark discontinued theirs.
Yeah, because nobody likes mint juleps except on horse day.
Well, yeah. Why the hell else would I drink it any other time? No
Yeah,
thanks.
it's so, I don't know. I don't believe people really like them.
Yeah, I don't go to a restaurant and go, can I have one? Hell no.
No. But yeah, we were highlighted with our old fashioned right next to High West and Maker's Mark in the Whiskey Advocate, which was really fun. We don't pay for any advertising.
Sweet.
We don't do any of that, and so it's so fun to be recognized. We've been recognized by Vogue magazine, by Rachel Ray, by the Whiskey Advocate, and that's so fun because who are we? Like, we're so small, but it's fun. It's fun to get the recognition
Yeah,
organically.
that's a hell of a list to get recognized for. That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. We've been lucky. Lots of advocates, and it doesn't help that we are one of the first. I think the first to get certified as woman owned
Oh, well,
in
congratulations
America.
on that. That's
So
very cool.
so we weren't the first to be woman owned, but we were first to get certified, which
Okay.
which like brought a lot of people to us. Like we
Sure.
expanded from with Walmart. We were in Target. We
Oh shit.
like people who
That's
want
awesome.
to support diversity.
Yeah.
I had no competitors at that time, which was
Nice.
pretty unbelievable in the corporate world because nobody
For
else was
real.
certified.
That's awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
I wish Walmart Target could sell alcohol here. I don't think we can sell their beer and wine, and it blows. Can't get it. You got to go to a package store.
Yeah.
Oh well. Texas is way behind the curve on liquor laws.
Yeah. So was Minnesota. And we're getting
Yeah.
better, but it's still painful.
That's probably true. Yeah, I know we had some talks about that. I guess we're up there this summer about that. So you guys, yeah, not pretty.
No, I
Oh
think
well.
like one of our most popular distilleries literally moved out of Minnesota into Wisconsin because the laws were
Oh,
so
jeez.
like it penalized them for being successful. Like you couldn't
Sure.
sell bottles after this size. And like why would you put that restriction? Like
Yeah,
who's driving that? What's
ridiculous.
motivating that? Who's driving that? Because it keeps big
Old
business
stupid laws.
in big business, and then it prevents small makers from getting
Oh,
big.
totally.
It makes no sense.
Yeah, no one. So they had a fight to be able to have a bar on premise and to serve cocktails. It was ridiculous. The hoops that it sounds like they had to jump through to get anywhere to do anything. It's like you got to rewrite
Yeah.
legislation. I'm like, it should not be
Well,
this hard. It's
the
absurd what a
amount
business owner to go through.
the amount of lobbying and around distribution, and
I can only imagine what you have to put up with. Must be ridiculous.
yeah, it needs to get revitalized, but I don't know if I think a lot of people need to change their positions before that can happen.
Yeah, unfortunately, people that usually have no stake in it either way, but they're just screwing everyone else. It's like, thanks, guys. Really appreciate that.
Right? It's just one mindset driving it, and
No, it's just stupid.
yeah.
All right. What should we do next then?
Now you're on to the Boulevardier.
Do I need to shake this one too or not?
Just a little shake.
We'll shake. All right. There we go.
Just
No,
a
you cannot
little
shake it.
that is a Boulevardier is a whiskey version of the Negroni, right?
Right.
But for this one, I love this one. So it is the same sweet vermouth. It is the same
Okay.
El Dorado, but I French oak aged the bourbon. Oh yeah, she's
Okay.
a designer. That piece of artwork is a designer,
Yeah, it's beautiful.
female out of New York, and
Okay.
Brett did some work for her. So he bartered his services for her imagery.
Very
She
cool.
works with Batali and Rachel Ray, so it's kind of cool to have
Very
like
cool.
a legit piece of art on that.
That's awesome.
So I French oak age the bourbon, and then we use cherry bark vanilla bitters from Bitter Cube, which are just beautiful. So I think that's 60. I
Ooh.
want to say, what is this one? 62.
62. Yeah.
This one will end up going to 67.
Okay. Okay.
But still, I think delightful.
Right.
I mean, it is such a yummy cocktail. I love the vanilla and cherry bitters in it. And then I think the French oak just gives it a really nice foundation to the bourbon, a little bit more weight. And it pairs just really nice with everything else.
Yeah, I've never had vanilla or cherry bitters prior.
Yeah.
But they stand out big time. That's nice.
Yeah, and I'm not even using a lot. I think in there also I have some orange bitters as well. And then for all of those, all my ready to pours, it's one big square. Pour the cocktail over the square ice, and then I usually take a rind and express it, rim it, and throw it on top. That's it. Because that freshness of the rind really contributes to the overall enjoyment of the cocktail.
Yeah, once again, this is better than almost every bar I've been to. So, just I'm just calling this. Buy your products, stop making them because you're not good at this. It's so disappointing to go to a bar. I'm like, oh, your cocktails suck. Can I please come behind your bar and fix this for you because you're not good at this?
I know, right? It's there, and it's so hard because you're like, why aren't you using the right ice? Why do you have these glasses? Why are you
Right,
using rail, but then using a nice this? And a lot of those, a lot of those places are making a living off the booze, not necessarily their food. And
right,
it's
and
like it's
it's
all about the
all.
dollars and what goes into that glass and their ROI on it. And not rarely can
Yep.
it be a driving mission of even the cocktail bars are counting
Mhm.
pennies.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, but if you just charge a little bit more, if you charge with $1 and it's that much better, no one's gonna notice or care.
I would happily pay $20 a cocktail and have the perfect garnish, the perfect ice. Tell me what the fuck
Totally
is
agree.
in it. Tell me what spirit you're using. Because what I hate is menus that are nameless. You're going to
Totally
charge me
agree.
$15 and you're not going to tell me the spirit
Yeah,
that
and
you're
you know
using.
it's bottom shelf well crap.
Right. And I've seen people like blending 15 gins, and I think that's freaking ridiculous.
Why
I
would
think
you
that's
do
just a
that?
marketing play.
That's just stupid.
It is stupid.
Oh yeah, the wrong glass is the biggest red flag. Absolutely. Yeah, if they don't have the worst thing is you walk into a whiskey bar and they don't have any Glencairns. I'm like, you're a whiskey bar. And then you ask them, do you have any? And they're like, what's that? I'm like, I need to go.
Yeah. Oh, you just need to travel with your own on like a little like
Yeah.
fanny pack.
But it's like, and then you bring out, they're like, what is that magical thing? I'm like, this is what you should carry at your bar. Get rid of those freaking rocks glasses. You don't need those for this.
Right. And
Oh,
yeah.
frustrating. As one of our favorite bars, it's like we asked about what's your favorite whiskey? A Kentucky Deluxe. You shouldn't work here anymore.
Oh,
This is not what you should tell your customers.
you know how many 60-year-old men have come up to me and they're like, how can you make bourbon? It's only from Kentucky.
Oh,
And I'm just like, and they're so like ready to brawl with me. And I'm like,
yeah,
okay, well, let's talk. What do you know? How, like,
yeah.
here's what I know. And it can be, oh my gosh. And it's just, there's just so many, there's just so much to teach, Matt.
Mhm.
There's just so much to teach.
Well, I mean, I guess Kentucky's done a good job of marketing as far as what they've done.
That's what I said. I go, what a case study in how to market yourself. They've done a phenomenal job because
Absolutely.
I mean, they've really for people who are novices, like they really have made people believe that it can
Mhm.
only come from them.
They really have, and it's like, no. There's a lot. There's probably a bourbon from just about every state at this point, as far as I know. I've even had some from Alaska. They weren't great, but they were still technically bourbon. So
I think Tito's and Kentucky should be marketing
for
marketing
real.
cases in every college marketing class.
You're not kidding. I mean, you can get Tito's in any crappy bar in any country in the world
Oh, they
that has a
call it
bar.
they call it up here, and it's like you're calling Tito's, and I mean, and they give so much money back, and a
Yeah,
lot of charity work, so they do a lot of good stuff. But goddamn, the marketing brilliance around that is something to admire.
it's and the sad thing is when it came out. I think it was '95 is when it came out. It's nowhere near the same product it used to be either. It's like it
Right?
used to be way better vodka than it is today. I'm like, ew.
Yeah. I
Now I'm
mean,
like,
they're
nope.
everywhere now. I
Oh, there.
mean,
It's just mass produced. I mean, I don't think it's much better than some of the other lower quality brands at this point. But hell, they
well,
marketed the hell out of it.
I feel like you could almost say Tito's replaced the word vodka. Like, I
You
mean,
know,
it's
you could actually probably get away with that, to be honest. I mean, it's almost
yeah.
like the word Kleenex is the tissue.
Mm-hmm.
That is,
For
you're right.
sure.
Everybody knows what Tito's is. There's no one who doesn't know what Tito's is.
Yeah. It's unbelievable. Yeah.
Yeah, that is pretty funny. Well, Andy, you're right. You work for Oklahoma. Of course, you don't buy Tito's because they support UT. I don't buy it because I find better vodkas. Tito's MGP? No, it's made in Texas. It's not an
I
MGP product.
I used to drink a lot of dirty gin martinis or dirty vodka martinis, and then uh, last or 2 years ago, I switched to gin martinis. And I remember someone trying to get me to do it like 5 or 6 years ago, and I'm like,
Gin
what?
martinis are
No
so much
way.
better.
And now, oh my God, I love them. I love a London Dry dirty martini.
Absolutely, that's the way to do it. Yeah, but like, because I always made them with gin. They're like, "Oh, you have vodka?" I'm like, "No, not vodka, gin."
Yes.
It's like that's
Yeah.
the weak version. It's like it's supposed to be. I was like, I don't know what. Couldn't believe that people were making with vodka. Yes, just growing up this way, my parents always made them. I'm like, why would you use that? I'm confused why there's vodka in your martini, but whatever.
One of my
Oh yeah,
favorites is Sip Smith. I think they have
oh yeah, that's a good one. I do like that one.
I think they have a beautiful gin.
Yeah, I like a lot of the gins now. But have you had the new Sazerac one that Sam Ewing made? You tried that one yet?
No.
That's really nice. They use a bunch of wild Scottish botanicals, and it's really good.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Wow, the bottle's downstairs. I tell you, I know it's got some different berries, and there's what the hell is in that one? I have to look it up on the web. I'll text you with it later.
Okay, yeah.
But that's good.
Send me a shot of it.
But that I can even do that. I'll send you some. How about that? Then you can try it.
Yeah.
Makes it even easier. But of course, the stuff from the Vikra up there, their gins are fabulous up there in Duluth. I love their gins.
Their gins are fantastic. Really, yeah, I actually tried to contract to still there, but they're just kind of too many initiatives going on, kind of at capacity. But they're good people.
I think they make 17 different products there.
17? Wow, that's a lot. But when you have a distillery, you kind of have to, right? Because you can't bring another alcohol. You have to make all the mixers or the liqueurs and stuff. So it makes sense.
Absolutely. But yeah, but I found like a lot of craft gin. And also, have you had the gin from Egg Harbor at all? From Hatch at all? You tried theirs?
Why does that sound so familiar?
Kind of like a short, squatty bottle.
I've seen it, but I don't think I've had it.
Yeah, their gin, because it's a 100% honey based gin.
Huh.
Which was super. I never had a gin made out of honey, but it was really good.
Yeah, was it sweet? Like overly sweet, or just
no? It wasn't overly sweet. It was just a damn good clean gin.
Huh.
But yeah, he even made a rum type product. Can't really be rum, but a rum type product out of it, and so was his vodka. Same thing, all 100% honey.
I love that.
So yeah, super fun guy over there. His all organic stuff from his bees, and he's a beekeeper too. So that's why he makes that of honey.
What city?
Egg Harbor, up there in Door County, in Wisconsin.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know I've seen that. I know I've seen a bottle, but that will actually motivate me to buy one.
But yeah, that's good. But yeah, I find like a lot of the craft gin is really good.
Yes.
Because they're actually trying. So,
It's not just a sourced, an MPG sourced gin put into a bottle.
Right. Yeah, the Door County gin, theirs is pretty decent too from Door County itself, their distillery. I'm trying to think what else we've had. But yeah, we had a lot of nice gins from up in the Midwest that just seem to make really good gin up there.
Well, we do like our gin. We like our gin and tonics over the summer. We are clear drinkers for the summer. We go, clear in the summer, brown in the winter. It's very
that makes sense. That's true. Whitley Neal, that's a good one too that Donald mentions. I haven't got to hold up Blood Orange, but I did have the rhubarb version, which is awesome.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's a British one, right, Donald? I'm pretty sure it's a British gin. But it's really good. But yeah, so that was a pretty nice one. There's been a lot of interesting ones lately.
The Nika one is kind of fun because it has kind of that buzz button in it.
Yeah, that is a good one. Totally agree. That is a nice one. There's another Japanese, what's it? Nabuku, I think, something like that's a really good Japanese gin. That's another one that was our gin of the year last year.
Oh yeah, I have that one. It's like in an octagon glass.
Maybe, and it's a higher proof one. It's like 108, something like that.
Oh, I do not have that one.
Okay, yeah, there's a couple different versions of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well, that's fun. That's another way to stand out. It becomes an education piece because most people are scared off by higher proof, right? So you're going to alienate some customers, but you're making something fun for on-prem and for more of those kind of connoisseurs of wanting something a little different and something that can stand up in a cocktail.
Absolutely. Well, I guess we should do your old fashioned then.
Let's do it. So that's our, toggles between that and Sundog is our number one selling product. That is our 2-3 year bourbon. It is Demerara. It is orange bitters, bottled at 75 proof. All of our bourbon is always single barrel harvested. It's always in 53 gallon barrels, and it's always a minimum of 2 years before we do anything with it. So those are kind of our standards. And then anything above that is bonus.
That's cool.
And we do also put a little bit of Chinar in there, right? So it has a little bit of artichoke liqueur used as a bittering agent. We partner with a East Coast craft producer for that now. That makes an even better Chinar. That's just gorgeous.
What is a Chinar, just so people they can know what that is? Because I'm not sure how to.
Artichoke liqueur.
That's right.
But I mean, then again, even like, what is that? It's just like an herbaceous liqueur.
One of the liqueurs I'm actually missing from the collection. I guess I need to get one.
Yeah, I mean, buy a small bottle because a little goes a long way.
It's good to know.
But it's really fun note. And then having it be bitter forward. Oh, of course, Angostura. I partner with Angostura on this.
Nice.
So you get I wanted people to have the traditional profile, higher proof. What do you get out of a high-end bar downtown? No exceptions, aged bourbon, Demerara versus simple syrup. And then if you want to throw weird bitters in it, if you want to throw more bourbon in it, go for it, right? But it's a great foundational bottle.
I love the top hat, whiskey hat. That is amazing. On the label, that is it's like the original. Except for being a football helmet or a Viking helmet, it's a top hat. That is awesome. So, what inspired that art?
Rhett and I were just screwing around on the computer, and I think like he had a top hat, and I don't know who mentioned what, but I know there like one of us said that like, what do you think about like a cocktail and the hat? Yeah. I even had a friend make one of those hats for me, like in
oh my gosh, that's
hat.
awesome!
Is
awesome. It fully functional?
It's totally functional. It's insane.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, and so Rhett's a really phenomenal designer. So we can do a lot really fast, right? So, throw this over here, make this over here. And so our labels in the very beginning took a long time because he needed to understand my style, what I was looking for. And now we can quickly hit the ground creating a label and getting it to print ready because he understands the brand.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, that's so freaking cool. I love it.
Thank
yeah,
you.
That's a fabulous old fashioned. Like I said, once again, they should just replace the bars with these because these are significantly better.
Thank you. Well, and I think the big difference is, Matt, is that we're not trying to squeeze as much money out of it. So it's a $40 bottle, maybe $35 at some places because I can't control that.
Right.
But not trying to make my own bitters, but partner with someone that does it amazingly.
Yeah.
Like you really moving at a certain pace. It's hard to be everything to everyone.
Sure.
So to make really good base spirit, and then to make really good bitters, and to be a maker and a taster. And I mean, I think it's it's hard for the companies that to have all of that under one roof.
Sure. It's a lot.
And so I know that I don't want to make bitters. I don't want to learn how to make bitters. I want to focus on spirits and cocktails. So who can I partner with that I think make beautiful product or traditional product? So like in that we partner with Bitter Cube for the orange, and then you can't recreate Angostura.
Right.
It is so classic. So I want to partner with Angostura to get that classic profile. So customers know what they're getting when they put it into their mouth. It's familiar. And that's what people get so excited about. It's like, oh shit, this is like what I expect versus, oh, here's my interpretation with my bitters. I saved, $100 a batch. Well, $100 a batch. I mean, I remember one guy in Wisconsin was like, if you use this kind of bourbon, or like if you, they're getting into like that sticky, agitated wood chip bourbon.
Oh, hell no.
Oh, like it can age for 6 months, but it tastes like 5 years. And I'm like, that's absolutely bullshit.
Yeah,
and
that's
like, well, you could use this, and then you could use all the money you save and put it into marketing. I'm like, well, or I could just make a really great product and let people be my marketing mouth.
I'm gonna go with that.
If I make a really shitty product, I have to invest in marketing because I have to make up for the quality.
Yeah, I think most of those companies are pretty much gone because they already learned these taste like shit.
Yeah,
right. We had one here saying that same thing. They put oat chips in it for 6 months and said, "Oh, isn't it so great?" I'm like, "No, it tastes like crap."
Yeah, and I'm not a big fan of all the over oaking and smaller barrels. And they can have their place for sure. It's just not my profile. For like how I like to drink.
Well, I think most distillers have learned that doesn't work.
Yeah.
That you have to really use 53s because it just doesn't work long term. Or the angel share is so high in those smaller barrels. As we found out for a lot of Texas ones, like, yeah, we tried that game. Yeah, we lost a ton of money. We decided to go to 53s. Or some have even gone to 63s because of that, because to get more time. Your
evaporations are insane in Texas.
Yeah, it's horrible. They were telling us in some of those little 5 gallons, they were getting like 75% evaporation. I'm like, okay, that was pointless.
That is an expensive exercise.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, we learned that was bad. I'm like, yeah, they're like, so yeah, we've gone. Then some went to 30. We still figured out that still was too high, like 53. There's a reason 53 is the standard, guys.
Right? Like, we don't need to recreate the wheel or rush it.
No. So they think most distillers have gotten away from the smaller barrels, not for the most part.
Yeah.
Every now and then, or like they were the very first things, and then like they all learned that didn't work.
Yeah. So. And I think I can't even believe that agitated stuff took off like it did.
Do you still see a lot of that on the market, or is most of that still that around?
Well, seen, like, I'll call it spam. I'll get spam on it. And I haven't seen that much spam on it in a while.
Okay. That's a plus then.
Right. I mean, yeah. If it sounds too good to be true, it is.
Yeah. I like it. Donald says it's not angel share taste, it's angel robbery. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
That's a good way to put it.
So what do you plan to sell the stuff in Texas? That's the next question.
I need an operations person.
Yeah, I'm sure our state will probably drink almost all of it just on our state alone.
Yeah, I just I'm growing so slow, and probably like I'll have to make some decisions next year because we're growing every year by 20 or 30%. And with that scaling, and other states want me, and
sure.
But I also am really cognizant I'm not going to go everywhere.
Right, you can't.
Sacrifice the integrity. So I'll probably expand with clears, and then as we make more, I would say the more money you make, the more you can be who you want to be. So I know that we are due for another investment in bourbon and throwing barrels down. So we need to do that. And then, I feel like I've been saying for the last 3 years, next year, maybe an operations person that can help me expand into the other states.
Yeah, I totally understand.
But with Big Thirst, we should be able to ship anywhere.
Well, that's true. Yeah, because then that way I can bring in, because we'll definitely have these in the tasting room for sure. So get people on these. So if they're going to probably want to buy some, be like, well, at least hopefully your with your e-commerce is up and they can go online and buy them. Because that's sometimes what feature feels like. This stuff is awesome, but you have to go to that state to get it. So,
right. I'm like the furthest I can be from you guys.
Yeah, it's okay. We have people that can make things happen. It's all good.
There's mules everywhere.
Exactly. The mules are fantastic. They're great people. What can I say? Well, this has been awesome. This is fantastic. Anything else you want to tell the people about it, your products at all?
I think one thing that's really fun, being that I'm in Rotary, is that
Mhm.
I have a big philanthropic commitment. So I don't sell, but I donate. And then the nonprofit sells 12 dinners a year at my house, and people pay like 3 to 6 grand for it. And then
Sweet.
I cook for them and do a bunch of cocktails and all that. And I think over the last 3.5 years, but we've raised about 200 grand that
That's amazing.
100% go to the nonprofit. So I think it's always fun to be a startup and still
Yep.
have that kind of community impact. Um,
Absolutely.
it's been super, super fulfilling. So even on days where you're like, oh my God, what are we doing? This is a struggle. You can see how it's affected the Anne Bancroft, how it's affected the Masonic Children's Hospital,
Sure.
all these things that we can do so good while we're struggling to like kind of lift and get going,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
is really, really rewarding. So I
Oh
think
yeah.
it's fun to share.
I agree. I think charities. Yeah, I know we do a lot of charity work too, so I completely understand. Most of our goes to the Catholic schools or some of the Christian local schools around here. So those
Nice.
helping for tuition for kids that can't afford it. So it's helped. I
I
think we've
love that.
raised 60,000 the last couple of years for them, so not too bad.
Nice job. I think everyone should have some sort of philanthropic commitment, whether it's donating
Absolutely. Yeah.
time or money, and like there's always a way. There's always a way to give.
Exactly. And we found that whiskey works out very well to people to give. So
Yeah, everybody wants whiskey. That's for sure.
exactly. It's funny. Yeah, it's just you just never know. Some people are extremely generous, thankfully, and have lots more money than I do. So
Yeah.
can donate to these amazing causes. So it helps a lot.
Yes. I'm grateful for those people.
Absolutely. Without them, well, wouldn't go around. That's for
Right.
sure. All right. Anything else? Does anybody else have any questions for Heather at all? Are we ready to go? I know it's 10:45. No, we are a little bit over the limit, but it's all good. Awesome conversation. Appreciate it. And
Oh gosh, I
well,
love that. I didn't even look at the chat. I didn't even know I could see that.
oh yeah, yeah. They've been chatting away for a while.
Oh, I love it. Well, this has been awesome. I appreciate you having me on.
Oh,
And
thanks for coming on. This was great.
I just got
Really.
back from 6 weeks in Italy. I was just traveling around and working remotely, and I felt like it's nice to actually be back and talking about business. I feel
Yeah,
like it's
but
been a while, so this is the first thing I've done since I've
all
come
right.
back. So thank you for that.
Perfect. Yeah, you can't really beat 6 weeks in Italy though. I think you did a fair
Yeah.
deal on that one. So
It was good. I will say it. Everyone wants to come over here, so it really. I came back with a massive sense of gratitude
oh,
for
that's
where I live and the people around me. We have a even when things seem crazy and
yeah,
embarrassing, and you think everyone
sure.
hates us, they don't, and we're very lucky with where we live.
Yeah, that's a valid point. That is very true. Thankfully, most Europeans are thankfully very supportive and very happy.
Yes,
So,
they can look at a blind eye at some of the crazy, and I appreciate
oh
that.
yeah, I mean, what the knuckleheads do in Washington is one thing. What the
Uh,
rest of us normal people do is a different story. And that's why
right?
they want
They're
to
not
know people.
representing.
Exactly, exactly. Well, thank you very much, and I'm going to keep you on. I'm going to end the stream, but I'll keep you on.
Sure.
So don't go anywhere. So I just want to say thank you guys already. We actually have a special stream tomorrow for you guys. The Fighting 69th Regiment will be here. So it's a 6 o'clock Central Standard Time for you guys. They're going to come on with their guys from New York. So that should be fun. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. Cheers, everybody. Night.
Bye.